This new eGPU dock combines the best of what is available today, the people's favorite OcuLink and the brand new Thunderbolt 5. And these are my old eGPUs, and compared to the new one, they are technically outdated. I have been using it for a month, and I want to share my experience, what makes this eGPU better, and what I would like to see improved. Just a disclaimer, this unit was provided by the Aoostar, but only for review purposes. Let's see what's included in the package. There are two cables, one Thunderbolt 5 cable, 80 cm long, and a DC power cable for mini PCs, and the eGPU dock itself. It doesn't have a power supply, so you'll need to install your own. There are three connectors nearby. One is 24-pin connector, the second uses a CPU power connector, and the third is for that DC power cable, which can power up mini PC up to 150 watts. There is another handy feature for mini PCs, because the package includes another box with parts that can be used to assemble a stand for mini PC. I'll assemble it a bit later. On the back we can see three ports: OcuLink, Thunderbolt 5, and a downstream Thunderbolt port for connecting USB devices. I will test all of them in this video. On the other side, there is only a backlit power button. The assembly process was quite straightforward. This cable goes up here, CPU connector goes here. In a perfect world, I would use a different power supply, the modular one, because this doesn't look good. This will be our GPU holder. The first thing that interested me was backwards compatibility. Thunderbolt 5 is not yet widely available, and I think most people needed to work with Thunderbolt 3, 4 and USB 4 right now. But after that I'll check Thunderbolt 5 as well. I'm about to try both ports on my handheld. Luckily it has OcuLink and it also has a Thunderbolt 4 port. Let's see how it goes. It took some time, but the GPU is detected now. Right away I can see that the charging is working, which is a good sign. Yep, everything works as smooth as it should be. Let's see the numbers. Okay, so we are exceeding the previous Thunderbolt 4 limitations that I had with other eGPUs. Very good result. My eGPUs are obsolete now. For context, here is a comparison of the same GPU connected to an older Thunderbolt 3 dock. And we can see that the host-to device and device-to-host numbers are slightly higher. I became curious and quickly compared the performance in 3 games. And yes, there is a slight difference. I suggest that connecting to the AMD-based handheld may result in even better performance. But I don't have one right now to test it. Okay, so I've been playing it for a few days. I had no problems at all. I used it with external monitor. Everything was great. Now I want to try it with Nvidia 50 series GPU. I have this RTX 5070 Ti and I want to finally put this holder to the eGPU dock. And actually I can put my... Boom! Now it looks like a PC. It's not a gimmick thing, actually. It might be very useful if you have a mini PC. And I always find hard place where I should put my handheld next to, so it don't get bother me. So yeah, that's a nice feature. And I really hope it's gonna work with this RTX 50 series. Oh no, I faced the same problem as I had with other GPU dock. My GPU doesn't fit here. If you look here, there is a tiny gap. So again, in order to make it work, I need to unscrew this. Here we go again. And now you can actually see a scratch here from my side plate. I informed Aoostar about this, and they managed to reproduce this with other large GPUs and admitted that this was a design flaw. If you are among those who pre-ordered and encountered this problem, you'll be able to receive compensation. Or if you have the necessary tools, Drill this cut a few millimeters further and you'll be fine. In the meantime, they have added a note informing users about this and said that they will fix it in future shipments. So keep an eye on the note if you have a large GPU. And for now, I'll fix it in the most reliable way possible. I think that's enough. And we're about to figure out if it's gonna work. For those who don't know, since the release of the Nvidia 50 series, they have not worked with the Thunderbolt eGPUs, except in the cases where the device has an AMD processor and an eGPU dock with a new USB 4 controller. Doesn't work, and I see that on my handheld Wi-Fi disappears, some devices being connected, disconnected, so it's lagging hard. I hope it's not gonna burn. Honestly, when I saw that RTX 2060 had more bandwidth speed, I had some hope that this is gonna work. That's unfortunate. So my motherboard also has Thunderbolt 4. I just connected the GPU. It detected, but it doesn't work. The main monitor doesn't work, and even RGB went off. So I guess I'm safe to say that Thunderbolt 4 with 50 series Nvidia doesn't work still. With backwards compatibility all clear, it was time to test Thunderbolt 5. All I had to do was to switch the cable to another port on the motherboard. First, I checked the bandwidth, and it was similar to the first Thunderbolt 5 GPU I tested. Again, it's slightly worse than OcuLink, but much better than the previous version of Thunderbolt. I tested it in different games and didn't encounter any problems. It always worked predictably, and that's the most important thing. I won't be comparing performance in this video, as I recently compared Thunderbolt 5 with OcuLink and a direct connection to a PC. The video should appear in the upper right corner. Of course, I also tested OcuLink, and everything worked predictably well with it too. But I wanted to point out one thing that surprised me. If you use a mini PC, you probably never had this problem, but I'll show you anyway. Oh, it's interesting. With my previous eGPU dock, I couldn't restart my handheld. Keep in mind that eGPU handshake is lost after a Windows restart, and once again, we get a confused GPU sound. Let's see if it works here. Since fans are not spinning, I guess it worked out. Nice! It's way more convenient than it was before to me. And also, will my handheld turn on? Because it happened randomly with previous eGPU dock. I powered it off, and like after 5-10 seconds it was turning on again. Also doesn't happen. Very good. I was very pleased that the handshake works perfectly with my handheld. Previously, this was one of the main reasons why my attempt to replace my PC failed. And here, as far as I understand, the handshake is always active when the power is on. This makes me wonder if I was too harsh in some aspects of my criticism to the One X Player X1. I also want to point out one thing that I noticed is that once eGPU is connected and I click power off, nothing happens. Because eGPU is smart enough to understand that it's connected right now. And once I turn off my PC, it will automatically turn off. That's cool. This is a Type-C dongle and I have USB devices connected to it and my external SSD. Of course it's not gonna work. So yeah, keep in mind, if you're using OcuLink, USB is not gonna work. I'm actually curious what's gonna happen if I connect also Thunderbolt 5 port with OcuLink connected. Let's imagine that I need it just for charging or for USB devices that is connected. Hope it's gonna work. Nothing's gonna happen. I see that the charging started to work. Oh, SSD detected. Yeah, like nothing happened. Everything's fine. So I tried to copy some files from the external SSD and no problems at all. And during editing, I started asking the question, what's gonna happen if I turn on with OcuLink connected and Thunderbolt 5 at the same time. I see the charging is going. We got the external monitor working. The only thing that's left is to figure out, is the GPU connected via Thunderbolt or OcuLink? And I will do that by checking the bandwidth speed. I'm not sure if you can see that, but based on the numbers I see here, it works via OcuLink. And I will test that now by disconnecting Thunderbolt cable. Nothing happens, GPU is still connected. Perfect. I think it's time to wrap it up, starting with what could be improved. The most obvious thing is that my 5070 Ti didn't fit, but as I said, this is a problem of the first batch, so keep an eye on the status on the website. The second thing is lack of built-in power supply, and I wouldn't hold this against another manufacturer, but Aoostar has already done it with another eGPU model. It looks way better when you don't see a power supply with a bunch of wires, and it's just practical. I think this is one of the main reasons why this model was so popular in my comments. Even though I didn't have it myself, I often recommended it to others. So I hope that the Aoostar will release an updated model someday. I liked the idea of a stand for mini PCs. It may seem like a small thing, but if you've seen my other videos, you know how I feel about desk full of wires. And this stand helps to save a little space on the desk, so definitely a thumbs up. It's a future-proof option, because if you need an eGPU now, it will work with the current gen of devices, as well as with the next gen, which will feature Thunderbolt 5 or USB 4 v2. If you need OcuLink, no problem, just connect another cable and use it. I was surprised by how stable OcuLink worked with my handheld. And if it worked with that, there will definitely be no problems with other devices. Overall, I liked this eGPU dock. It easily replaces my previous versions, while also being more performant and stable. And I enjoyed testing it and have shared with you everything I found. If it was useful for you, you can support this video with a like. Feel free to ask me any questions, and I will respond when possible. I will also post a link to it if you want to learn more or get one for yourself. That's it for now, bye!